Welcome. This is going to be a full body energizing flow. And if you have a ball that you could fill with half the amount of air, that would be useful. A yoga strap or a scarf, and optionally a cushion for the forehead, and potentially a rolled up blanket or a cushion. Some of us might need it and some of us not. So we're going to start either kneeling on the knees, or you can be standing. So your choice. Either way, you want to have just kind of a light hug at the sits bones. So there's a little bit of support. We're going to try to stabilize our pelvis and take a few arm circles. So the palms are facing the wall behind us. When you're inhaling next, the arms will go up towards the ceiling, and then exhaling to press the arms down. And then inhaling up, keep a little hug on the bum, exhaling to press the arms down. We'll do that 2 more times, and just finding the range that feels good. One arm might move slightly differently than the other. And then the arms can come into cactus. We're going to learn a little arm pattern that we'll do later, lying on the stomach. So in this cactus shape, the shoulders are away from the ears. You feel nice and long through the neck, and you have that east and west feeling with the collarbone, so very broad through the front of the chest. Little bit of pressure at the elbows, so like there's some weights hanging from the elbows. And this is the position that we want to keep coming back to. So you always have a moment to kind of click into these different efforts. So we turn the palms to face the wall behind us. So the pinkies are facing towards each other. The thumbs are trying to point as much as they can to the sides of the room. And like this, we're going to stretch the arms to a wide V overhead. And then you keep the rotation in the arms. They're going to circle out to the side, and the palms are going to face the wall in front of us. And then we're going to very patiently take the arms a little bit back behind us, and then back to the side. And then we circle all the way out again. So we're back in this wide V, but the palms face the wall in front now. And then you finally glide back to cactus. Take a moment to feel your cactus. And then we go again. So palms flip. You stretch the arms to a wide V overhead. Circle the arms out all the way down by the hips. The palms face the wall in front. Very patient press back with the arms. You're still feeling east and west with the collarbones. And then circling all the way back. The palms stay facing front, and then dragging back to cactus. So we'll just do this one more time. Flipping the palms, stretching to a wide V overhead. Keeping the rotation so they just kind of sneak, so the palms face forward. Arms press a little bit back, and then circling all the way out to the wide V overhead, and then back to cactus, and then relaxing the arms down, giving the shoulders a little shake. So we'll see that later when we're lying on the belly, so don't erase it quite yet. And now we're going to take a moment in our squat stretch. So we have a few options. You can have the feet quite wide, and if it feels like you're going to fall backwards, this is when you might want a rolled up blanket underneath the heels, or some blocks or something. And you're going to interlace the fingers, place the hands where the spine meets the skull, and then let the head relax. And we're just going to take a moment to deepen the breath here. So the idea is that the arms are just heavy. We're not pulling our neck anywhere. And in this position, it's easier for us to deepen the inhale and easy exhale, and really exaggerating the movement through the back and side of the ribs on the inhalation, and easy exhale. We take 2 more deep breaths.
Noticing where you feel a stretch. You're welcome to stay here, or alternatively, you could take the hands together, press the elbows into the legs. The legs could press the elbows, and we could take 4 more deep breaths. So you press the hands, press the elbows, legs, press the hands. And if you're in this position, you could focus the breath more on the belly now. Inhaling deeply, easy. Exhale. And then you can release the hands, and we're going to lay down on the back. So if you have that ball with the half amount of air, it can come once you're laying down underneath the hips, and will be in a place where it feels like you're resting in neutral. And you can even rest the hands on the belly for now. We're going to take one exciting breath. So I'm going to explain it once, and then we'll start together. So don't do anything, you just listen. In a moment, you're going to inhale very deeply and hold the breath. So once you've inhaled, you're going to hold, and we're going to start to find this pump with the belly. So the belly is going to start to pull in and then push up. And you're still holding the breath as that's happening. And then at a certain point, the body is going to say, please exhale. And we're going to exhale. And then you'll take a second to rest. And then we'll repeat it 2 more times. So as long as it's clear, we might be slightly off on our timing, but that's the idea. So we can at least start together. So you're going to exhale through the mouth, and then take a deep breath in and hold the breath. And then you're going to continue holding the breath and start to pull the belly in, and then push the belly up. And you find a speed where you can continue to pull in and push up. At a certain point, you'll start to feel some pressure at the throat because your body wants you to exhale, and then you exhale. Take a second to feel, don't control the breath. And when you feel ready, we'll repeat that again. So on an inhale, you breathe deeply, hold the breath, and then starting to pull the belly up and in like there's a basketball in the low belly. And whenever you need, you exhale. You might be still going, or you might have already exhaled. It's not a competition. You just see what the body needs. And we just go through one more time. So as the belly is moving up and down, it might get confused sometimes. And this is kind of, it happens, and it's not a bad thing. It's even maybe good. And you just try to continue to direct it up and down in a steady rhythm. So we do it one more time. Deep breath in, holding the breath, and then pulling the belly up and down. And exhaling whenever you need. It's a great way to kind of pick up the energy. The arms can either be down by the hips or in cactus. We're going to start to move into our more traditional Pilates breath, and we're going to make some hip circles. So you're going to start to roll the hips around. And as you go, you try to just let the breath flow. So we have our inhale through the nose, and our exhale through the mouth. And you just try to find a range and a speed of your circle that feels good. And then you can already reverse the circle and just noticing which image you're using. So you can either think about the front of the pelvis or the back of the pelvis. Try to notice what you're referencing for your circle. And 3 more circles, seeing how the hips are gliding, trying to stabilize through the knees. And then we're going to find our way into our scooped or tucked position. So the pubic bone is higher than the hip points and the low back is dropping downwards. The palms come down by the hips. And on an exhale, both arms are going to go back behind us. And on an inhale, they're going to come down again. So we can inhale, prepare. On an exhale, 2 arms move back behind you as much as it feels good. And then inhaling the arms down by the hips. And you keep this scoop. Exhaling, arms back. And inhaling down. So we're trying to keep the ribs heavy, keep the pubic bone higher than the hip points. You could press a bit the feet down. 3 more times, exhaling back, inhaling down. The feeling is like the hip points are rolling towards the bottom of the ribs. Remembering that full inhale as the arms move down. Last time. And then once the arms are down, they can stay down for a moment. You release the pelvis into neutral, and we're going to move the legs now. So you can inhale to prepare. With an exhale, the left knee can come over the hip shin to 90 degrees. And then exhaling the right leg. So we have our tabletop legs. On the next exhale, the arms are coming up towards the ceiling. See how that feels for the balance. The palms are going to turn to face the wall behind us. You're going to lock your elbows and start to stretch the arms back. And you want to just be able to see the fingers out of your peripheral vision. So even if the arms can go further, let's hold them here. And we're going to single leg stretch. So a deep breath in to prepare. On an exhale, the right leg stretches long. And on an inhale, the knee bends back in. So this is our action. You're exhaling out, inhaling back. And you want to try to feel the continued reach through the arms. And you want to keep checking that you can see the fingers out of that peripheral vision, so out of the corners of your eyes, the tops of the eye socket. We're going to take around 8 more breaths, exhaling out, inhaling back, feeling that support through low abdominals, through pelvic floor as you exhale and stretch a leg long. If you feel ready for some double leg stretches, you're welcome to stretch 2 legs. If one leg feels right, keep stretching one at a time. We want to bring some awareness to the breath, to abdominals. Exhaling out, inhaling back, keep reaching those fingers, and we'll do one more time. So once the knees or left knee is back in, hugging the knees in towards the chest for a moment, letting the head roll from side to side a couple of times. And then letting one foot come down at a time. We're going to carefully lift the hips up. The ball can go to the side. We'll use it again in a moment. But just feeling that wonderful sensation of coming off of the ball. So we'll set up now on the stomach. You can just flip around. I'm going to turn to the other side of the mat. And if it's feeling comfortable today, you're going to try to have the ball at the front of the chest. So, and if you need a cushion for the forehead, you take the cushion. The arms can find their way into cactus. So if you're on the half air ball, it should feel like you can still breathe. The ball is kind of at the nipple height. And if that's feeling tender or uncomfortable, you don't have to be here. So we're going to slowly set up for that arm pattern we did earlier. So the pubic bone will press down. You feel length through the low back. And then the shoulder blades are going to find their way on the back. So you feel east and west with the collarbone. And then just gently see if you can feel that the air in the ball, it's like the chest wants to push the air more towards the front of the ball. And you're going to try to keep that throughout, letting the arms lift a little bit off of the floor. And then as you exhale, pressing the toes and the legs down, drawing the chin in to come up with the head. And we'll do our arm pattern. So the palms turn towards the ceiling. You inhale to stretch the arms to a wide V overhead. The arms are circling all the way down by the hips. The palms are facing the floor now. And then you very patiently lift and lower the arm, keeping the chest open. Once the arms are back to hip height, they're circling all the way back overhead to a wide V, and then dragging the elbows back to cactus. Feel your cactus for a moment. We'll do this 3 more times, turning the palms, stretching the arms overhead, circling the arms down by the hips, palms face the floor, and then very patiently lifting and lowering the arms, and then circling all the way out overhead to the wide V and dragging back to cactus. Let the breath continue to flow. You're still trying to kind of press the air in the ball more forward. Arms circle around. You meet with the arms down by the hips, slowly to lift and lower the arms, and then circling the arms overhead and dragging back to cactus. We just have 1 more time. Palms turn, you stretch the arms, they circle down by the hips, and then take your time. There's no rush to lift and lower the arms. Last time, stretching the arms out as they circle, elbows drag back to cactus, and then relaxing everything down. Can give the hips a little shake. So we can find the hands underneath the shoulders. The ball can go away, and we'll press back to child's pose for a moment. And in this child's pose, let's stretch the arms. So the elbows can maybe be off of the floor, so we won't be completely relaxed here. And just 2 deep breaths. Feel the space from the side of the ribs, through the side of the armpits, down to the pinky side of the hand, of the finger. And then 1 more deep breath. As you exhale, the hands come underneath the shoulders and you're rolling up to sitting. So by now, I would hope you're feeling a bit more energized. We're going to try to continue to help ourselves to get the energy up. We're going to do a little flow on all 4s. So there's 3 moves that we're going to repeat 3 times with a child's pose in between. And there are a few options, of course. So let's start on all 4s. You feel the wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And then just playing around for a moment to feel where the spine is. So you want to try to find your natural curves. And it's almost like if you had the ball at the chest when you were laying on the belly, like the ball is still there. So you can think very, very subtly of pressing the air in the ball forward, and that's the chest lifting a bit. And we're going to tricep bend. So we'll take 4 times to start. You're going to bend the elbows, hugging the elbows in, and then exhaling to lift, bending, and stretching. And the whole time you're feeling that chest lifting. You're being patient with the backs of the arms to initiate from the backs of the arms to come back to all fours. We do one more time. So once the arms are straight, they stay straight, the toes are tucking under, and we're taking some knee lifts. So you're inhaling to prepare, and then you're exhaling super patiently to lift the knees up. And then you're inhaling to lower the knees. So we take 3 more times. If this feels easy, you're going too fast. So first noticing that the knees, it's like they're in honey. They very slowly and gradually lift up, that you're feeling the tightening around abdominals, chest still lifting, inhaling down. And that as the knees lift, the weight doesn't shift forward. So you're not leaning into the hands as the knees come up. The pelvis stays neutral. Last one. Once the knees are down, you're going to press the hands and knees to find the way to downward dog. So the arms are pressing, the hands are pressing, the knees can be a little bit soft because we're going to bounce here. As you're bouncing, the breath is flowing, the bounce is coming from the knees. Let the hips move a little bit up and down. 2 more breaths, feel the neck soft. Hopefully feeling some effort building in the front of the thighs. And then letting the knees come down, toes come together, and we rest back in child's pose. And this time when you're in your child's pose, you can let yourself completely relax. So the arms can be bent, and we take 3 deep breaths. And taking this moment to really do nothing. If the arms would rather be down by the hips, they can move down by the hips. Softening through the torso. And then we can find our way up to sitting. So we'll cycle through those 3 moves 2 more times. And I'd like to, if you come onto all fours, if you would like to make the tricep bends harder, we can take the, what are these? These are hands. The hands kind of one hand width or one hand length away from us. And then if you send the hips forward, you're in this kind of plank preparation. And we can, we'll all do 6 tricep bends, whichever shape we're in. So you can inhale to bend and then exhale to come up. And we're all feeling our chest lifting. Whatever version we're doing, we're feeling our triceps, our backs of the arms. Abdominals supporting. And then last one. If the arms are out in front of you, walk them back in, tucking the toes under. We take 6 of our knee lifts. Inhaling the knees down, trying to stay patient. So each time it's a new experience as you lift your knees up. You keep inhaling down, you keep as much of the body in your awareness as you can. Chest is lifting. Inhaling down. The challenge again is going to be to keep this movement small. The brain wants a big movement, the body wants a small one.
And I think around 2 more times. The arms are still working here, so it's not wrong to feel them. It's just less interesting if we shift forward into the arms. And then last 1. So we can keep the toes tucked under. We're going into our downward dog. The hips are going up and back. And the knees can be soft and we can start to bounce again. Feeling the weight through the base of the hand, especially the index finger. Noticing that as the knees bounce, it can almost lead to a little jump. It will help get the quads organized, the front of the thighs. And one more breath for now. And as you exhale, knees down, relaxing in child's pose. And a few breaths again to drop. So this opportunity to go from a lot of effort, a lot of focus to just spreading out, having no task. Just letting go. One more deep breath. So taking the hands underneath the shoulders, rolling up to sitting. So if this third round will serve you to get the body energized, we'll do this last round. There's a few other options I will offer you. So let's see how it goes. We can find our way onto all fours again. If you're doing the kind of the plank preparation, you take the hand, one hand length in front of you, hips can come forward, and then there's a light hold on the bum then. And we do 6 breaths, inhaling to bend, exhaling up. The abdominals are working with us as we go against gravity, inhaling down, exhaling up. You find a range where you can keep that organization in the shoulder. Check in with the face and the jaw. So I've started to speed up a little bit. If that's not working for you, keep the pace we had before. If the hands are in front of you, walk them in. You're welcome to do the knee lifts, or we could make our way into the plank and hold. So if you're going into the plank, the one leg stretches long, and then the second leg, and we breathe. So if you're on all fours doing the knee lifts, you're exhaling the knees up and inhaling down. If you're in the plank, you're going through your tape loop of feeling the chest lifted, the face relaxed, you can smile. There's that hug on the sits bones, energy through the legs. You feel like you can pull up on the front of the kneecaps. I think we have around 2 more breaths. Feel the neck released, pushing the floor with the hands and the feet. If you're in the plank, you could go straight to downward dog. If you're in all fours, you meet us in the downward dog. And we start our bouncing again. So if you feel like you'd like the bounces to lead into some little jumps, you would be more than invited to let the toes leave the floor, the neck soft. If the toes are down, the bounce is still happening from the knees.
Around 3 more deep breaths. Keep breathing fully. And then as you exhale, the knees come down, our last child's pose. And again, letting yourself completely unplug for a moment. This wonderful feeling of the heart rate faster than normal. You might be sweating. The pores of the skin are happy. One more deep breath. So the hands can come underneath the shoulders. You come up to sitting. If it feels nice, you could turn the front of the palm to face the mat and just go up and down with the fingers. This can feel very good for the wrist. Or if you prefer to just make some fists or circles with the wrists. And then we'll come off of the legs. We'll sit on the bum with the legs out in front. So if sitting like this is already uncomfortable, you could sit up on something. And we need our strap or scarf. And we're going to put it around the balls of the feet. So you want to feel like you're on the sits bones. So you can move the flesh a bit to the side. You don't really need to pull so much back, but to the side. And then you find a nice way to hold the strap, and you're going to try to use the arms to help you lift the chest. And just noticing that when we lift the chest, we don't need to lift the neck. So those are two different pieces. And you're going to keep this wonderful shape of the spine, and you're starting to tip forward. So some of us will be able to tip further than others. It doesn't matter, but it's going to be very tempting to go backwards with that mid back, and you're going to keep it coming forward. So the chest is open, and you're potentially feeling a stretch through the back of the legs or through the spine. You might need to reach further down your strap. If the hamstrings are quite open, you could also grab the toes. We just take 3 more deep breaths. Feeling that wonderful sense of space through the spine, even if it's uncomfortable, trying to keep breathing, feeling length through the back of the legs. And then coming up to sitting. We'll do a similar version of this. You don't need the strap with the legs, just maybe mat width or the tiniest bit outside of the mat. So you use your arms for a moment to try to come up on the sits bones. And then you're going to try to tip forward again. And this action seems, for some of us, self-explanatory, and for some of us, impossible. So we just try to, as much as we can, find that sense of tipping forward. The hands can be on the floor. You might be more vertical, the toes, the feet flexed. And then
We mostly want to feel the length through the low back now. And then you're going to let the upper back, so from the sternum up, round. So the low back is long and the upper back is rounding. And 3 more deep breaths. Find a nice place for the arms. Exhaling to come up. Find a nice place to sit for a moment, just to thank yourself for taking the time to do this class, and to let me thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and I'll see you next time.